Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll be reviewing Smile as we prepare to see Smile 2. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Michael? Michael? Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got my guy, Michael, back. Mike, how we doing?
My boy, doing good. Can't complain. What about you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Excited to review this one.
Me too.
We'll be diving back to 2022 to dive into Smile as we get ready to see Smile 2 this weekend. But nonetheless, we got quite
an avid enjoyer of the movie Smile.
Yeah.
You know?
You were the guy to have on. Yeah, I remember when we watched this in theaters last year. You're like that was it.
Watched it with my mom.
That was
we were fucking scared as shit.
Yeah. But we got Parker Finn in the director's chair. We got Sosie Bacon, Kevin Bacon's daughter. That was new information for me. And then we got Kyle Gallner in our second largest role as Joel. But we'll start with the good, and I know probably all of the movie, if not most of it's probably in the good for you. And it is for me too. This was when you're talking about modern horror, this is one you got to mention.
This is a top notch. Yeah.
I would say the first thing I'd like to mention in the good is probably the marketing.
Oh my god, best marketing campaign for a horror movie. I mean, you could think of.
I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday, just watching Yankees games or watching Good Morning America, and they had people standing outside the windows or behind home plate just smiling. Wearing a shirt that says Smile with the date that it comes out.
If that doesn't draw an audience in,
you don't need the trailer. You don't need anything the sinister smile on a person at an everyday activity with just the name of the movie and the date on their shirt. Like, that's such good marketing. And I remember when that was happening, I had seen the trailer, but I was like, dude, this just makes me even more excited for this movie.
It kind of surprised me that it took this long to make like a legit creepy Smile movie based around a creepy smile.
Yeah. Honestly.
And then our friend Corey and I were talking about this. It was like, before the movie, when you saw the marketing and, the trailers and stuff, we were thinking to ourselves, I mean, how are they going to make this not corny? You know what I'm saying? It's like a smile thing.
Like, is it really going to be... Truth or Dare, they had the smile element to it, and it was just like, okay.
I was excited for it, but then I was like, I mean, it might end up being corny. Yeah. It's modern horror, you know what I'm saying? And we both said by the time we were done, we were like, that was scary. That was very scary.
The opening we get is fantastic. It's Rose. She's at work and she has this patient come and see her, and this patient had just seen somebody in their own life, and she's like frantic, and then all of a sudden she's calm. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she's cutting her throat open, and you're like, what the shit?
And then of course, since she's used to dealing with people like nutcases, she's just saying, like, this stuff kind of happens,
Yeah.
Like, and then the girl's like, oh, you think I'm crazy? Like, of course, everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when she's,
Yeah. What a way to get you started.
Here's one nitpick, though, about that scene.
Okay.
They're not supposed to have anything in the room that could potentially harm them, but there's a vase.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's like one of the nitpicks.
You're probably not thinking that. That's a good point.
I mean, I've seen the movie like 5 times, so like I've gotten to the point where like
you catch on to those
could easily get up, grab that vase, catch the, catch the doctor off guard, smash it, and kill her.
Yeah,
or kill herself.
Yeah, yeah, but still, just the shock factor you get, especially the first time watching.
First time you see it, you don't even think about that.
Yeah. But then that's like, it's crazy to think that's when the curse is passed on, though.
Yeah.
Like, you're sitting here and like, wow, it's already going. Like, it's balls to the walls off the rip.
Yeah, I love that.
But it just gradually, as the movie goes on and you're following Rose try to battle this entity, the jump scares are good.
Oh my god.
My favorite one's probably when she's wearing the headphones.
The good thing that they do is, which I think I've told you before, is the jump scare catches you off guard every time.
Yeah.
They don't give it to you when you expect it. They wait and they wait and they wait.
Yeah.
And you're like, when's it going to happen? And then you're kind of like, all right, maybe it's not going to happen. Then boom. And it gets your ass.
Something as simple as a cat coming from behind the door.
Oh, yeah. or like an alarm. Like that one scene when the alarm goes off and she drops another glass. You know what I'm saying?
Or the sister.
Oh.
When she has the argument with her sister, Holly it is, I think. And
Holly, yep.
Just... I'm like, whoa!
Dude,
what the hell?
That was a really cool, like...
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But yeah, there's, and I feel like something that we've had in horror movies throughout our life, and obviously... you're what, 98 and I'm 99. So basically the 21st century. The horror movies we've gotten, it seems like a lot of movies try to rely on jump scares and sometimes they feel forced. Yes. They didn't feel forced in this film.
Not at all. And there weren't too many.
No, they were, like you said, they were perfectly placed and every single one gets you.
Every single one.
Yeah, I felt like our boy Court.
Dude, I watched it. Court watching that movie that might be the most fun movie to watch with him. Yeah. Because it gets him.
Yeah. Terrifier 3 was fun with him as well.
Oh my God, yeah. Also, when you were saying, right off the rip, it reminds me of the Terrifier movies where in the intro, something crazy happens already, and then that's how you know you're in for a wild ride. I mean,
that's I had a public speaking class in college, and they said the hook is the most important thing, and, that can be the same with a movie. If a movie has a slow... 30-minute ending, you're like, or beginning, you're like, okay.
That's when people start clicking the power button.
Yeah. But when you can just get you hooked in the first 5, you're like, buckle up. I don't even care how long this movie is,
Oh, and then, dude, because like I told you, I started watching it again today just to kind of refresh myself.
Yeah.
And this is throughout the whole movie, but the sounds and the soundtrack and the audio of the movie. Mm-hmm. Some of the best. Some of my favorites in any horror movie.
Yeah, no, the score is really good.
The build up, I don't know if you watched the intro scene recently at all, but it's when she turns around and gets off the phone.
Yeah.
And she has the piece of vase in her hand, and then it just, the sound that builds up to her doing this slit is phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's
perfectly executed.
It's a very sinister score.
Oh my God, yes.
But, shout out to the acting. I think Sosie Bacon did a great job. I like Kyle Gallner. He's not in a lot, but anything he's in, I usually like him in.
Have you seen The Passenger? Amazon Prime.
Dude,
he's the main role in it, and he plays this psycho kid.
Yeah.
And oh my God, he's murders it. He's better in that than Smile. It might be his best performance. Not my favorite movie that he was in. Still liked it a lot, but his best acting performance.
See, we were talking about it before. When I first watched Smile, I was like, oh, holy shit, that's the guy from the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. And obviously, it's 12 years later, so he's aged a little bit, but he still looks pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember him being the only thing I liked about that movie. And I know you like that movie a little more, and we're not reviewing it, so I'm not gonna pour my griefs on that movie out right now, but I remember loving...
last time I watched it, I was in middle school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I remember loving Kyle Gallner, though. Yes. And when he was in this, I was like, okay, I'm in here for this. And once again, I thought he did a really good job as this supporting character. He was this ex-boyfriend cop that was always there for her.
You didn't think that he was going to end up being as main of a character as he was. You thought her actual fiance was going to be more of a main role, but then once he starts...
Trevor?
Yeah, once he starts getting tired of her shit, and then Kyle's character Joel starts coming back.
Homie.
Yeah,
yeah.
That one scene where he comes into the hospital, he's like, I was on a job, and then I decided to come in and check on you.
Yeah.
That whole scene was just, you cringe because he plays the whole hey man, I was just coming to check on you. You know what I'm saying? And then she's just like, what are you doing here? We're not together anymore. But he killed that that soft kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just being there for her.
He did. He was a great supporting character.
Yeah.
He was so well written that you really like him as a character, and you hate that by the end of this, the entity's obviously passed on to him after he watches Rose do her thing. You're just like, damn.
I don't know if you saw...
Not Joel.
Bacon. What's his last name again? Kyle what?
Gallner.
And I'm pretty sure A-Train. I think they're all back in Smile too.
Okay, that's interesting.
Which makes sense because I bet you Gallner's going to pass on.
I bet it starts with him.
Yes.
It's interesting that Rose, that Sosie Bacon's back because obviously she lit herself on fire. But
yeah.
I'm wondering if it's gonna be like through, like hallucinations or something.
Or it's gonna be like a throwback or something to something we didn't get to see.
I wouldn't
in
be
the
surprised
first one.
if it's a throwback where maybe the first act follows Gowner and it's his hallucinations and he sees her or something like that.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to go.
I was wondering because when I watched the trailer, I was like, "Oh, they're doing a whole new story, whole new characters." But then when I saw the cast, I was like,
"I'm sure
there's
going to
be some connections."
I'm sure we're gonna get like a little intro part of the first act with the characters from the last movie for sure.
Yes,
to kind of lead us into where the entity is going into this one.
Oh, we'll wait till we get to the break down the ending scene. Okay. I just had something in my head, but
okay. Let's talk about the ending. I think this movie had a really good ending.
Oh yeah, it was solid. Yes, very solid.
Yeah.
Dude, I love how. So how like modern day horror, and I guess a lot of horror, they're usually the length is around like an hour and a half, hour and 45. You don't usually get real long horror movies.
Yeah.
So I remember watching the movie, and then how she's in Joel's apartment, and they're setting it up like this movie's ending.
Yeah.
And then. The more you watch it, you're like, I guess you kind of could have seen it coming. But the first time you watch it, like that plot twist, her turning around and then she's back at the house.
Yeah.
I was like, my mom and I were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, it's so going.
The hallucination was so hard. She thought she was in a different location.
Yes.
Yeah. I like the tie-in too with the trauma from her mom.
Yes.
So I thought that was cool. Because they say like you have to pass it with trauma and you can only have it with trauma type of thing. But
one scene that I really liked that incorporated her mom, which I always remember, is when how at the beginning the intro scene is just the zoom in of her mom in bed. Mm-hmm. There was, I think, the second scene it shows of her. It's her zooming in on her mom's face, and then she kind of goes, and then she wakes up right after that happens, and it transitions, and that kind of made me jump a little bit. But I like that transition of her waking up right as that dream is going on.
I like that, and I like the research part of this movie, like where she's trying to figure out how, like obviously Kyle looking up the old files to see these people that are connected. I thought that was all well done. You've got the guy in jail that kind of tells you like, oh, you have to. Kill somebody with somebody witnessing because it can only be passed with trauma, or you got to kill yourself.
Yeah. And
it's just like, and that's when she comes to the conclusion, oh, I'll just kill myself with nobody watching and I can't pass it on. Mm-hmm. And then unfortunately, Joel walks in the house when it's happening. But it's a wild story. It is.
It is. Yeah. It's a very, very unique concept. And that's one thing that any modern horror movie will get respect for, is creating something new that we like.
Taking a swing.
Taking a big swing.
Don't get me wrong. I'm always fan. I'm cool. I'm down for Halloween 14. Give it to me. I love Michael Myers, but I'm with you. Like it's always nice seeing something refreshing and new.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you're a lover of the Halloween series. Like if I love a series, anything that comes out, I'm gonna be excited for, and I'm at least gonna like just because.
Yeah. Like if they release another Evil Dead. There hasn't been a bad Evil Dead movie.
There has not been a bad.
If they release another one, you're going to be there.
I'm
but at the same time, you're also like, give me something new,
Yeah.
And we got some fun treats to some new stuff last year. I mean, or not last year, but 2022 and last year. Like Barbarian, one that's popped in my head. That was kind of like nothing you'd ever seen before.
Good plot twist.
Yeah.
Gotta love a good plot twist.
But this was right there with it. Like, you leave the theater and you're like, okay. Go Parker.
Like Parker Finn.
Yeah. But
is there anything else that he's notable for? Did you?
He did a short. I can't remember the name of it. He did a short that caught a lot of traction.
Is that kind of what set him up for Smile?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But that's usually how horror works. A lot of the new name directors you don't hear of, they probably had a short at some point. Because it's easier, I guess, probably to create the feeling of suspense and horror in a short than it is like a whole drama or something,
That's how those twins that did Talk to Me.
Yep, they did
got
short
that,
on YouTube, and then
shorts, and then they made their own movie with no
Night Swim producers. Was a guy that made a short Night Swim movie, and then they let him do a full length feature.
Yeah.
You gotta get out there and make a 15-minute movie. You never know. Yeah. Maybe in a couple of years you'll be making one that's an hour and 40.
Shit. I
know.
Once you make a short, you might.
I know. We'll see. Hopefully,
catch a break.
We'll see. But yeah, I know Parker. I mean, his direction was great. I think it was pretty well written, and it was definitely a pleasant surprise. Because, like you said, you're watching it. The marketing is cool, but you're like, maybe the marketing is this cool because it's a cheesy concept. So you've got to do something to make it interesting. Yeah. And I left the theater very, very happy with the product.
Very happy and on edge.
Do you have anything else in the good?
I think I knocked it all out. Honestly, trying to think. Oh, I loved the scene with her therapist. Mm-hmm. Oh, Rose's therapist,
with Madeline.
Yeah,
where she's like comes over. Unexpectedly, and then all of a sudden she starts smiling.
And then she like steps over the couch, and then like just frozen smile. Like that was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's a good scene.
So we'll hop over to the meh. I don't have anything in the bad, so anything that I guess disgruntled with in this movie would fall under this category. Yeah. One, I would say the look of the entity lost me a little bit, but the way they carried out the story with it, I was here for it.
Are you talking about like the end?
Yeah.
What the entity
I think the ending was really well done. I like the way they handled it, but I don't know if I loved the look of the entity.
I don't know if you knew though, like that. There was little to no special effects with that. It's all practical.
Shout out to that as well. Yeah,
impressive.
I'm not taking away from like the talent it took to make this entity. I just I don't know. It kind of lost me with
but it's also another one of those things where like there's been so many movie monsters that you got to do something unique.
Yeah,
which I like how it was multiple layers of face. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was Romulus too. I loved the movie, but the final monster kind of was like I didn't love the look. You know.
Yeah.
So, but there was nothing to kill the movie by any means. I still love the way the ending was carried out for this film. And
also, did you know that the actor for
Romulus is that Spire basketball player? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I knew that. I mean, I knew that also, but the actor that played, the Nightmare Mom at the end is a guy.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Skarsgård, the way he looks. Just like a real...
But if Skarsgård's a monster, you're getting a good movie.
If you look up the picture of the actor that plays the Nightmare Mom, then look at the Nightmare Mom, you're like, oh my god, they kind of make sense. Like he's a scary looking dude.
Interesting. I'm so excited for Nosferatu, by the way, since you mentioned Skarsgård. But
oh my god, dude, I can't wait for that.
As far as other things in the meh, I mean it's kind of hard. There's not a lot to nitpick with this.
Yeah,
movie.
my meh was just that one little like. Yeah, like that's how
there's little.
Yeah, there had to be a way for her to kill herself.
Yeah,
but like honestly, I feel like you wouldn't really even think of that anyways unless it happened. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the hospital probably was like, we got to make it look nice in here. Put some flowers in a vase.
Yeah.
But then, oh my god, if this thing then you realize after it happens, all right, no more vases.
Yeah. I guess if I had to pick another man, I'd say just Trevor's character in general. Like, I was like, he's kind of a dickbag. Her fiance.
Yeah.
Like, I never liked him even before she was going crazy. So it's like...
One thing I did like about him is how he backed her up at dinner. Do you remember how
That's true. That's true. Yeah. But I definitely was more... Joel. I was Team Joel. If we're doing, like, Team Edward and Team Jacob with these guys...
I'm Team Joel for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, without a
But it's honestly both sides of, like, how someone would handle this situation. Yeah. Either someone that, like, is, like... all for you and believes you no matter what, in some way that's like I don't want to deal with this because she might actually be crazy, or it's real, like he's just taking the crazy side. But which they needed both those opinions.
There's really not anything else though, like
there's nothing actually bad, like you said.
So we'll hop to our final thoughts and rating. One thing I want to mention, our final thoughts, I forgot to mention the good. The birthday scene is awesome.
Oh, dude.
With the cat in the gift box. That's insane.
It's, you know what? I actually called that.
Yeah, you did.
I called that.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that when you,
with my mom, yeah.
Yeah, you told me.
I was like, I said, oh my God, it's a cat.
Yeah. Dude, that was another twist.
I love that, dude.
But what do you want to leave off with Smile? What do you give it out of 10?
I mean, one of my favorite horror movies and favorite movies of all time, and I'd probably have to give it we give it a solid. Did you start doing like solids or halves?
You can do whatever you want. Okay. I usually stick to halves.
9.5.
9.5. Okay. For me, I'm just gonna go a point below you. I'm gonna go 8.5. it's just in that great range for me. It's
Yeah.
a great movie.
Yeah.
It's not up there for all-time favorites like it is for you.
Yeah.
But I still have a really
But you
good
have
time with this
so
movie.
many more horror movies that you've seen that you love more. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
fair.
So you got to be able to.
Yeah, but this is still a hell of a film. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. I remember when it came out, I was like, I did not expect to be giving this movie an 8. I thought it had a ceiling of maybe a 7.
Yeah.
And so I was like, leaving this with an 8.5 thought in my head. I'm like, hell yeah. You
Yeah.
know, I was pretty,
Especially for modern
pretty
horror.
happy. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, you're a lover of the OG stuff, which also adds, you know, it adds to your scale.
Yeah.
Of everybody likes horror for different reasons.
Yeah.
They like it for like the plot and the lore. Some people like to just be scared, which that's the most important part for me. Like I like to be on the edge of my seat, about to have a heart attack, which that's, I think the reason mine is a point above yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that is
Yeah.
what I love
Like
about
Talk to Me was like that too, and I know
Yeah.
you love that
I
film.
love-
And
yeah.
I love Talk to Me as well. Talk to Me and Smile are probably at the same level for me. I think they're both.
I'd go lower for Talk to Me
Okay.
than Smile for sure. I'd probably go same range as you for Talk to Me.
Okay.
But
But yeah, man,
Smile just
it was a great
special
movie.
place in my heart.
Excited
man.
for Smile too.
Very excited. I like the
We'll
concept that
see.
they're going with.
We'll see. I'll be traveling, but maybe I'll wait to review.
I'll
it
go
with
see
you,
it again.
So that'll do it for Smile, Mike. Thank you, brother, for coming on. Thank you
Always
all
good
for
to be
watching.
here.
If you like what you're watching, check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Go check out Smile as you get ready for Smile 2. Let me know what you think.
Fast times to the moon, baby.
We'll talk to you all soon. Peace.